All right, well, big things are going to have to be said immediately because Qlash needs to figure out what they're going to do in the ban pick phase. Cream needs to get themselves onto consistent factors, and look at what we have. Superman, gone.
No thanks.
that is respect, man. If I've ever seen one. Hot. Whew, feeling spicy right now.
Elsu taken off, of course, on the red side, as we see most teams do in Qlash, also taking yet another page out of game number 1 and saying, no, sir, Frost, that's not going to be for you. Lindis taken off the board.
That is, well, first of all, it's taking me way back to Season 2.
It is.
Superman, Lindis, 1-2 bans. Secondly, that means we now have a whole bunch of open options. The Sephora, the Richter, still on the cards for both teams, and I'd like to see maybe a little bit of attention actually diverted away from them because we still have the Annette that looks so terrifying, and frankly, that should be an option to remove, but Qlash...
But here's the question for you.
It's too late!
They couldn't lock it in. They wanted to go lock in the Sephora. They can't do it. Now they lose themselves a ban yet again, and we find ourselves now having 4 broadcasts in a row where the team has, in the Valor series, has failed to lock in.
Up your ban mechanics, guys. get that micro in.
If you can steal Dark Slayers from 5-man teams, you could press the ban button.
We have to put this into perspective, though. Teamy's taken off. You have 4 seconds. Talanis, is that who you pick up?
Yes.
Okay. Now you flip. Okay. Obviously, now you flip it around. Cream has the immediate opportunity to pick up the Annette. There's no world where they don't pick up an Annette.
And the Richter. And Hot plays a very good Richter.
No, it should be Sephora too. It should be Sephora
too. Yeah,
they didn't ban it, and
there's so many.
To.
That's right. I totally forgot about that.
So Annette, Sephora, the response is going to be a Richter, I assume. But remember, that didn't go great for Qlash. So they may opt just to skip it because Sky looks so uncomfortable on it, and that now means that Cream will get the Richter as well.
Here we go. Mowgli gets back onto his signature Chognar again, and this raises the question because this has been the difficulty that we had for him last season, and it's something that he's had to climb out of, is being that quote-unquote Chognar one trick. Can he do it? Omen, Richter locked in on the other side now. Cream saying, you're going to leave it open? Might as well.
It might be a signature, but it's a messy scroll. Because it's been just a long history of him playing Chognar and it not going great. And I think he's legitimately one of the best Chognars in the world, but it's not enough to beat that.
But what does stay open amidst all of this? Roxy. Roxy was banned away in game number 2. Roxy gets back up on the board now. Liliana as well now in the mid lane. So Sky at least finding himself an interesting place to go as the final pick comes out for Cream. The last 10 seconds is dripping down.
Yeah, they need marksman.
It's going to be Violet as the potential, and it might be just the case.
Jungle.
Ooh, Zephys.
Yeah, but they need a marksman
immediately
jungler.
Now.
No, they do not, apparently. So this is a full engage roster that I actually, despite them getting literally every powerful character, I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah, if Qlash plays this well, again, despite the Chognar, they should have this game.
Because so much of this is going to be CC engage coming through. They're leading off the fight with Richter, Zephys, Omen, Annette, all trying to find stuns. Chognar actually plays pretty well into that.
Yeah, this is
Sephora needs to dive, and he's not. Alex P's not playing a Tulin anymore. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of this Cream Esports roster.
This is one of the few situations where Chognar might be palatable.
Did that hurt you to say?
A little bit.
You spat out the word palatable.
Yeah, not great, because I still think you can just, if the Zephys jumps on your Telenos, it's better to just stun him than get rid of the CC from the death from above, but
they don't have enough.
Reasonable.
Yeah, they don't have enough to get into the Telenos. That's what I'm looking for, and that's what I think will be a major problem for them.
It's weird because they have all these powerful characters, but there's no synergy among them, right?
Yeah.
Because they all do the same thing. They're kind of like they're like hybrid engage characters, right? They're not great at getting behind like a Crickneck or a Quillin. They're great at just jumping in the front and kind of getting through the initial front lines and getting the back lines, but if they're all doing that, all you have to do is back up a little bit and you're safe.
What I will say, though, is that something that Cream is keeping at least as a consistency factor is they aren't scared to fight. There's not a single hero on this roster that is scared to fight you in any situation.
That's not a good
Annette
thing.
will beat you with a broom if she has to. It doesn't matter. But that still goes in line with their strategy. They won game number 1. Why? Because they didn't stop fighting. They didn't stop scrapping. In a worst case scenario, yeah, you want to get better. You want to fix your macro.
That is a point,
but sometimes if you
don't let him fool you with his rhetorical.
No, I agree.
It is not enough to be able to take fights because you will lose the fights.
I'm not saying it's optimal, but what I am saying is there are moments where you need to play to your strengths, and there isn't enough time for you to figure out the macro points. And so as a result, do what you do well, which is fight. 5 members are on the side now for Cream that are ready to scuffle, but Qlash is not afraid to clash back. Game number 2, our final of the European region today, starts now.
I'm just still not sure this Cream Esports roster can win a fight.
If Cream Esports had just gone, if Cream had just gone with a marksman jungler or a marksman silent or anything, I think they handily win this round.
Yeah. The fact that they both don't seem to have enough dive to get into the backline, it all needs to come from Richter and Zephyrs, and they don't have anyone to sit behind the front line that doesn't even really exist, means that I'm a little bit worried. Maybe they'll just prove me wrong. I hope so.
This is a tale as old as time, by the way. The Roxy versus Omen battle always been the bane of Omen's existence, but there have been nerfs on the health of Roxy.
Sky, forced to flicker out, does get to safety. Mowgli playing defense for him adequately.
By the way, this was expected, but we do have Sky returning to the marksman role. Redemption, however, is the Roxy. So Random is in the jungle once again. So not quite back to normal, but close enough.
Nice wind cuffs comes out. The noob and LXP both need to drift back. Random's there. Good punish. Sky's in a lot of trouble, though. Hot dive finds a trade. Random actually keeps going in, though. He's got a double kill, and it might turn into 3 if he lands a good Wailing Blade. It's just the Spectral Ire, though, and the noob gets to safety.
He's just healing up for the Abyssal Dragon. He wants to make sure that he's full health so that he can go ahead and take it. So he's like, noob, come over here. Come here, let me just heal
When they
up.
say a net has a healing passive, that's not normally what I think.
It's on the side of Random. It's okay. Mowgli doesn't have mana, though. I'm not sure if they can really contest this.
He's just punching the Abyssal.
With his elephant arms.
I think they're called paws, but I'm not sure. Maybe hooves. Mowgli's in trouble. He'll try and brawl in the front lines, but like you said, he doesn't have the mana. Frost Death for Bud, though. It does land. That keeps him alive long enough for Hot to come through, making it now very dangerous. Mowgli has exactly 1 cast of his Shockwave. He'll spend it to get Hot low and slowed, allowing Sky to trade up. And that's 3 players down for only 2 in response.
TJ, this is the early game, and Sky only had War Boots during that and still took out Hot, still chased him down. This is going to get scary if he gets farmed at all, and Sky has been the expert at getting farmed in the Silent ever since the Valor Series qualifiers.
This team comp, I'll say it again, I do not see it winning team fights. Matt causes trouble. Waterwall does land. Talented dives in. They'll get an absolutely annihilating kill onto Zephyr, but Mowgli can just brawl in the front lines. Good Hurricane Wall. Does allow Frost to come through the back. I'll eat my words. Sky's very low. He's gone.
They can take a 4v2 though, TJ. They can take a 4v2. Mowgli and Sky getting a little bit too aggressive for their own good. Sky is caught out, but I can't say that I see that happening that many times here over the course of this game. Sky has excellent positioning normally.
Okay, so to reset from the early game madness, remember when EU didn't fight early game?
Yeah.
Remember that was like a whole thing where we were like, oh man, this early game is boring because no one's fighting.
I remember.
I kind of want it back. What needs to happen for Cream to come out on top?
They need to just hope Sky gets out of position constantly and they can take him out, because otherwise he's going to continue to lay on the damage.
Random will threatening the noob all the way back. LXP scares him off, but they do have enough damage that he has to spend the Tide of Life, and he doesn't even heal up the noob with it.
Right, and that is how you beat a Sephra, is you poke him down until he has to use the Tide of Life, and then he doesn't have it available.
Eagle Eye scares him even further back, but the wave clear is enough. These 3 members, oh, you're right. Second wave here, it's not enough. That tower is gone.
This is a disaster for Cream, because not only do they not have the early game, but they're going to lose the late game as well, because they do not have tower pushing pressure. And
Frost
does. Frost? No, that's not a good idea.
He thought it was. He might pay for it. The School of Hard Knocks is in effect. Random will go down. Frost should be a trade,
Sky.
but they can't connect. Sky in the meantime, he's being chased down. Hot will get the kill. Talented and the noob fall and trade. Mowgli's very low though, and he too should fall to this much dive as Zephyr comes through and is eaten up by the Tide of Life. He'll be able to back off and annihilate Hot with the unpredictable. Alex P, do you have the damage? I think not.
He does,
the water wall, it lands.
You never suspect the damage from Alex P or the Sephra in that instance, but Water Spirits will take you out. and neither do you expect the damage from Unpredictable. That's why it's called Unpredictable, TJ.
What is that fight?
I don't know. I gotta say though, you know how there's multiple players trying to jump on Sky?
Yeah.
And if only someone could just, you know, maybe stun them or pull them back so that he could stay alive.
Are you saying you don't like Chognar?
I'm saying if only there was some sort of hero that could stun them.
You're not a big fan of Chognar. I'm getting this kind of, like, it's garbled, it's code, but I'm deciphering it.
I'm glad you got the message.
Zepta in the mid lane has a couple people on him. This is, like...
This is bloody.
Yeah, and they're Cream, like, want to keep fighting. That's why they're grouping like this. And they will get the opportunity. Mowgli spends Chaos Protection. Chognar works out.
Yeah, that is one of the better parts of Chognar. Another, I will admit, another support would not have lived through that.
Talented doesn't live through the effort up top, though. Qlash keep brawling as well. They'll find a 3-man death squad finding a kill and a tower.
The rotate's coming here for Cream, though, so I don't know if they're going to be able to stay around.
Mowgli's trying to bully people off in the mid tower. He should have the wave clear, but he doesn't save the tower. That means it's a 1-1 trade. LXP needs some good defensive. Oh, Frost! Right on in! Death Flurry. Zepta's low. Tide of Life doesn't save Frost. And the flicker. Zepta gets to safety. The noob needs to spend his Hurricane Wall just to stall up, and it is barely enough.
Like you mentioned, the Tidal Life was just a little bit late. That could have been a devastating team fight for Cream, in favor of Cream against Qlash. Just not nearly there, but TJ, I'm looking at it. Sky died again.
Yeah.
That's 4 deaths.
Yeah.
Gotta keep him alive.
He's struggling in the build. Actually, second lowest gold on the team, barely ahead of Mowgli, the support. And
the sad part is the more gold you get on Sky, the easier it is to stay alive because you're able to build into that Boa Slaughter and then the Desicle. But he just doesn't have nearly the gold for that right now.
Yeah, and Mowgli's got to be careful because if he builds a gold lead, then all of a sudden his support item doesn't work. And they're both screwed. That's an issue that you might run into here. That's why he sat tight for a moment. They do have the Water Stone to try and power farm Sky.
Yeah, it is the Water Stone. So he was able to actually give him a bonus there instead of just taking away.
LXP will come through, scaring back Mowgli a bit. The wind cuffs will land. But the noob just stalls up the fight. Cream's only less interested in brawling.
A surprisingly big item here coming in for Cream because they have the Ring of the Fiend on the noob, and that will allow them to really engage as a 5-man squad.
Speaking of big items, though, we did just see Clav Sancti out.
Yeah.
That'll mean that Sky's finally able to do the big crits, and he's got the Eagle Eye and a fight in hand. Random's in a lot of trouble, but he'll stay brawling, and Sky stands amidst it all, dealing damage as Zepta comes through. It's 2 quick kills over for only Random and Trade.
Finally, Sky is able to stay alive, which allows him to get the damage!
He dives so far! Does land the Shining Light for a double kill onto LXP.
You know, TJ, I've talked about in the past, one of the most satisfying things is a Wailing Blade smack, but just as satisfying is an Unpredictable into a Foxtrot, into that shot to take them out with the Shining Light. It is beautiful. Dash, dash, boom.
He definitely broke the speed limit. That was terrifying.
Absolutely was. By the way, we have an interesting item here on the Roxy here for Redemption. Picks up the Odin's Will that was buffed in the last patch, and that allows you to go faster when you get damage, which Roxy continuously is. So whenever she's brawling amidst multiple members, she can chase them down or run away or do whatever she wants to, really.
Bot lane, though, there's another scrap started. Talon's caught out. The Eagle Eye's doing a lot of damage, and Zepta's on the dive, but the rest of Cream is coming through on the flank. And actually, Sky is picked up before there's an opportunity for a response.
Mowgli, you gotta keep Sky alive, buddy. He's so bloodthirsty.
The pause does come through from Qlash. So maybe some technical issues.
Sky's like, lag.
It doesn't quite work like that, but I'd love if you could just call lag while you're about to die.
He's like, that wasn't my fault. That was just too much lag. I couldn't.
Oh, it was after he died? Wait, Sky's my solo queue teammate. It all makes sense. He is having a somewhat better second half of the game, though. If you ever want to know the power of bot lane plus Waterstone, remember when we were criticizing him for being behind in gold? He's skyrocketed back up, and now he's almost in the lead. Yeah, that 6.2k will help him a lot. Nearly has that flicker back up on cooldown, so the next fight will be going reasonably well. And those next 2 items, the Cleaving Claymore and the Bloodied Club, I want to say, is going to be going into the Bow of Slaughter. The pause doesn't affect the chase or the inevitability of Cream's kills here in mid. Does mean a little bit extra tower damage comes through from Qlash, but that'll be all.
Look how fast Red is. Just blazing shield and then gets damaged, so the Odin's will makes him even faster.
Him and Zefta. It's a tough time for traffic cops. He definitely is moving. Hot's in trouble up top. Him and Random have been dueling all game, and Random's been terrifying this game. Now Frost will come through, and it's a brief punish.
That is what happens when you build nearly all damage TJ. You just get wiped out if you're caught unawares.
Frost will take the tower as well. Not bad at all for Cream.
Yeah, Cream's starting to come back into this game now. And they're going to need this real estate on the map in order to be able to dive members. It's been hard up until this point because of the multiple towers, but if they're able to somehow take the towers, it gets a lot easier.
Yeah, the further back you need to fall, the easier it is for your opponent to manage where you are on the map, because of course you have less to work with.
Exactly. Mowgli, I wish he's always low on mana. Can you get some man some mana, please? He does have the Lapis ring, which is going to build into the Aegis, I believe, but can you just buy a Pendant of Faith or something, please?
Mowgli doesn't need such things. Well, actually, he does.
He has Waterstone too, which actually helps a little bit. Maybe you get like a Phoenix tier?
Enraged Abyssal Dragon will go over to Random. Frost goes in though, Sky in trouble. Oh, he's got it out, and he has the life steal. Alex B dives in though with Hot, hits it up, and they'll fall immediately in trade. That's too much. Frost does get the return with a death from above the second time through, but Zefta and Sky are down, but they've lost too many in response. Talented needs to go massive, and he can't even get Random. Amidst an excellent heal from Mowgli.
Oh man, the focus on the backline was so great there from Cream, but they just could not make it work in the end because they had to sacrifice the positioning, sacrifice their lives to make it work. And even without Sky, even without Zefta, they're pushing forward.
Even without their two major damage dealers, it looks like they will crack the high ground. Frost needs to go massive here. He's joined by Hot. They will keep the high ground up, bullying Redemption back a bit.
Bully, Redemption, Roxy doesn't get bullied. She bullies you.
This time she's tactically retreating.
Right. But the point was, she's the only one who could just stand there, even more than Chognar actually, because she just like looks at the tower and says, you know what, if you guys want to fight me, I'll fight you. But
that last fight though was very curious because they almost got Sky right off the bat, and then Alex P and Hot both had to dive to finish it off.
Right, and the fact that he barely got away was absolutely huge, and he was able to heal up with the bow of
This
slaughter.
time, though, Sky doesn't have a bow of slaughter. He'll go down instantly to trade, though we're not good for Creep. They lose Talented. Mowgli in the middle of the fight is getting dropped very, very low, but Alex P goes down first, and Mowgli keeps chasing while Random picks up a double kill in the back line.
That is the price when you have to sacrifice your positioning, TJ.
Zefta almost bites off more than he can chew, but will get out.
Good retreat by him. He could have died there if he decided to stick his nose about a little bit too far. But again, trying to dive on Sky makes it so that their entire team is vulnerable, and they have to commit multiple members or else he will not die.
Random? Oh, I thought he was going to get a stun there onto the noob. As is, they very nearly blow him up anyway.
Keep in mind, though, the Darkslayer is up, so if I'm here on Qlash, I really want to go ahead and pick up that rather than push here.
I'd like to talk about an item that did just get picked up on the Annette. They've got Tome of the Reaper.
Tome of the Reaper is great. It reduces healing by 50%. You have to keep up the spells, though. Otherwise, you have to get the auto attacks on for 3 seconds. What it does is reduce the healing for Roxy in particular, because she's typically able to stay alive for so long. Also on the Telenos for Sky, but
yeah, it's good if you, especially on Annette, you can lay out a Gust Force underneath a fight and just guarantee that nobody's healing quite as well.
Yeah, it's particularly good on Annette, like you mentioned, because the Gust Force is so wide and because it provides that continuous AoE damage, not for the damage necessarily, but for the healing reduction.
Yeah, which means that Qlash are going to be struggling a little bit more. As is, though, they're not struggling now. They'll dive in, pick up a Darkslayer. There's split push coming through in the meantime, though. Cream might be able to get a little bit more than they gambled for as they focus in and will get a guaranteed tower. All of Qlash are on the chase, but there's a Ring of the Fiend, meaning they'll all steal away into the night.
Interesting choice by Cream. They could have potentially gone for a bush party and punished the rotation over since it was only 4 members coming over. They are down 7,000 gold, so perhaps they didn't want to take that fight, but it was an opportunity for them to decide they just want to get 1 tower and leave.
Play it safe for now, because, as you said, they are behind. They've almost evened the tower count, though. Only 2 standing between them.
The thing is, I'm looking at their side, and again, they don't have a marksman, so who is going to be the damage for them? And I'm looking at Alex P. He doesn't really have that much gold, only 8,000. He does have Hecate, he does have the Apocalypse. He's going to be doing decent damage, but not like ridiculous damage with his build thus far. So this is all to say, it's going to be on Frost and Hot to really take up members.
And I was tracking Frost's build, hoping it was going to be a full damage, but it's split into a hybrid, with him picking up both Frost Cape and Medallion of Troy towards the end of this, meaning that he doesn't quite have the full blow-up potential, though he will certainly still be doing damage.
Right, it is a Zephys, so he would have that damage resistance just built into his kit, but it's really not enough, not especially against a Telenos. So you actually just end up dying if you try to die for 1v1, especially now that Desicle and Bow Slaughter's there.
Hot in trouble. Actually, 3 members on him. This is a lot of trouble. He'll be able to jungle strike through the wall. Mowgli's there to cut off. There's the stun. He's left behind.
Mowgli's trying to chase them, though.
Yeah, deep underneath the tower while Frost clears wave. Frost won't get away with it. The rest of Cream are now falling back, but it's Talented all the while, stealing away another tower.
And this is great here for Cream because Cream have been able to hold on and not die, which means if they're able to keep this up, then they'll have salvaged the situation.
They know, though, Qlash, there are only 3 players to defend. Frost needs to go in order to clear this wave, and he does not do it. The high ground falls. This is incredibly dangerous for Cream. Only Alex P's here still is a damage dealer, and there's still 1 siege minion. This could actually be game. They must kill that siege minion. They do not. It will reach the core. The members are all tanking. It is game number 2 over the Qlash.
Qlash, they're able to make that work in the end, and Cream, they are punished for their lack of a marksman in the end. Not able to make that composition work.